Hey guys, welcome back to Shep Talk and welcome back to Shep Talk Movie Review. Before we get into that, a couple of admin notes. First off, Shep Talk is splitting into two channels. You're still going to be able to get your movie reviews, convention reviews, and all things geek related kind of, and Shep Talk. If you may have noticed, I've been doing a lot of streaming, a lot of gaming recently, and that is going to go on to my new channel, Darth Shep Gaming. Link to that channel will be down in the description below. So please, if you like my gaming stuff, please go over there and subscribe. It'll help both of my channels out greatly, and I do truly appreciate it. I just don't want to flood both channels to seem to be like a little bit one's overloading the other, especially since my gaming is coming out more and more frequently than these kind of reviews do come out. But on the second admin note, if you haven't done so already, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. It does help my channel out greatly, and I do truly appreciate it. I'm on all social medias as well, so if you want to stay up to date with what I'm doing, go ahead and follow me on those social medias. All those links are in the description down below as well. But let's get back to my review of Knights of the Zodiac. Knights of the Zodiac was directed by Thomas Basinski, I think is how it's pronounced. Was written by Josh Campbell, Matt Stukin, and Kyle Murray. This Knights of the Zodiac also stars McKinney. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing these names right. I know I'm not. Madison Iseman, Famke Janssen, and Sean Bean. Now, IMDb has the runtime for this movie as 1 hour and 50 some odd minutes, and I do not believe that is a fact. When I went to a 4 p.m. showing, and I got out at 6 p.m. And I know you guys were like, "Oh, but that's 2 hours." No, first 25 minutes of that time was trailers, and I got out at 6. So I'm saying this movie's probably about an hour and a half runtime max. Yeah. Quick synopsis though: Sia is a street kid, who is trying to find his sister and pretty much surviving on the streets, when he finds out that he is a cosmic knight and now must be the guardian of the reincarnated goddess Athena. When I saw the trailer for this movie, I didn't know that it came from an anime, so I went into this movie not knowing anything about the past. I don't know the story, I don't know the history, I don't know anything about this movie. I really didn't find out that it was an anime until I was sitting there watching the credits, and I was like, oh, this was based on an anime. Okay, bet. So if you're coming here to find out how realistic or how true to the anime it is, that is not me. Please, you'll have to go to another channel to find that. I went into it just expecting an entertaining movie. Now, really, right off the bat, this kind of like the opening kind of kicked it into high gear for me. Yeah, we do get a voiceover, and they're explaining about what happened to the knights of the past, as well as the gods of the past, and about the reincarnation of Athena coming to Earth. And then we jump into Sia's story. We see him really preparing for a fight in a pit, as well as some flashbacks to him and his sister, who he's trying to find. But and it's fast paced, and the action in the pit, man. Props to the stunt people that worked on this movie, because that opening fight was just awesome. It got my attention quick, and I kept watching all the way through. Now, I wish I could say that pacing continued on, but once the action is over with and Sia is now finding out what he is and who he's going to become, and then meeting Sienna, who is the embodiment of the reincarnated goddess Athena, it starts to slow down. Which I get, right? You can't have, especially a movie like this, go bam, 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 bam throughout the whole thing. You got to set up the stuff, get us captured, showing us how great Sia is with his fighting prowess, and then stretch it out to show him coming to terms with what he is and what he's got to do, and really figure out how he is going to adapt that from what he's been pretty much all his life. I wish I could say that it worked, but it really, at times and moments, I was really like, man, if this movie is 2 hours, I kept looking at my watch. I'm like, this is not a 2 hour movie, please God. one of the main saving graces for this movie is the fighting. Like I've already talked about a little bit about the opening fight scene that they have, and the main fights throughout this movie are done really, really well. Again, props to the stunt people, props to the choreographers. I think they realized that for these big fight scenes that they needed to really bring it and draw you in and keep you, at least keep your eyeballs on the screen, keep you entertained, and they do that. I wish I could say that they did that throughout this movie though, but there are scenes, and one of the big scenes for me, again, it goes back to almost like the middle of the movie, is the training montage with Sia and the Silver Knight. I don't know, it just didn't feel like there was any chemistry, there was any, like, the person playing the Silver Knight was a younger person that you really didn't get to see a lot of because her face was in a mask, and she was very stoic and did not have that much body movement. I'm sure there's some kind of reveal later on down the road. I have my theories, but I'm not really going to say it. And it wasn't as powerful as the bigger fight scenes, and it shows. Another area where they did really well in some areas and where they didn't in another is the special effects and the CGI. Again, this movie knew that it had to lock down the big parts of this movie. It had to do them right, and it had to make sure that they were presented right. And I think they do. I think they hit those high marks. They hit the CGI, the special effects, the fighting for those big scenes, those big moments. Then the money, I guess, wasn't there for those lower scenes. You can definitely tell when a scene is computerized or CGI'd, and where it just wasn't quite on the level that you were expecting. And it's not like it takes you really out of the movie. You just will notice that, oh, that character looks a little bit more computerized than when they were like 5 seconds ago. It's just some things you notice, and yeah, it pulls you out a little bit. And then one of my biggest complaints probably for this movie after those two, and I don't want to put it fully on the actors, is I'm going to say, I guess, the acting / storytelling of this movie. It just wasn't there, and that's a shame because of the actors in this movie. They can act. Like I said, I don't know the Sia actor that well. I've never seen him in anything else. But the other actors in this, I know are good actors. I know they can act the scene. So I don't fully put it onto them. I put it on the writers that just couldn't get these intricacies down. And so we have these scenes that are supposed to be really touching, really heartfelt, really connecting, that we just don't connect with. Sia and Sienna are two of those characters where they have some heartfelt moments, and to me it just falls flat. They do not have chemistry. They do not have great scenes. It just felt like they knew that there's this thing between them that they needed to discuss and get done, and then it moves on to the next scene. And it's not always that. I'm not going to say 100% that is always that. There are scenes, especially at the end, towards the end of the movie, where they do seem to connect and really seem to be vibing. And maybe that's because maybe they spent more time together before the end scene, and I could be totally wrong on this. End scenes were filmed, and vice some of the other scenes, but I don't know. It just so I blame it some on the acting, some on the writing. Actually, probably a lot more on the writing, and then some on the acting. And the last thought I have on this movie is that you could tell that they were really trying to do a setup movie, and that's coming from an anime where you know that you have these building blocks to go onto especially when you do an anime series and then go to an anime film. You already know that you have those building blocks. This movie doesn't have that building block. It has to contain everything in one movie before it can move on to the next. And you can tell that this is a setup movie. You can tell that they are wanting to get to to a sequel. And that kind of hurts it as well, I think. And in this day and age, as we know Marvel, you got to sit through the credit scenes to make sure you see if there's a post-credit scene. I'm here to tell you there is no post-credit scene, or there was not a post-credit scene in the theater I was at. So if you don't want to stay, go for it, leave. But if you want to see the people that helped make this movie become a reality, sure, sit through the credits. Overall, guys, Knights of the Zodiac is an entertaining movie. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed myself there. But it has the potential to be so much more, and that's the sad thing. And then what's really going to hurt it is that it's opening in May. It's opening at the start of blockbuster season. And I think with Guardians of the Galaxy and Fast 5 or Fast 10 coming out, that this movie is not going to get the people in the seats unless they are big fans of the anime. It's not going to get the new guys and new people to come in and watch this movie. And I think that's going to hurt it. This movie is more of a January or March through March movie, where I think they would have had more eyeballs on this movie, more people in the seats. I think advertising wasn't done really well for this movie as well. I don't remember seeing it advertised a lot. I think it was more on the internet that I saw the trailer, or because I pay attention to trailers that come out, that this caught my attention. But yeah, I think it deserves more attention. I think it deserves to be enjoyed and entertained for what it is. But I don't think that's going to happen due to the season that it opened up in, due to the month that it's in. But guys, with that being said, Shep is going to give Knights of the Zodiac 2.5 Sheps out of 5. Have you seen it? Let me know down in the comments what you thought about this movie. Have you seen the anime? Do you know what it's based off? How faithful is it to anime, to live action? But that's all I have time for, guys. Thank you for watching. If you did like what you saw here today, please remember to like, share, subscribe. It does help my channel out greatly, and I do truly appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next review.